The MCU is on a collision course for a reboot or a soft reboot, but there's still plenty of characters like Wolverine, Deadpool, and even Spider-Man who are legacy characters who Kevin Feige has stated will not be recast. Or at least some of these legacy characters can stay while their counterparts exist. So let's talk about what happens with Deadpool, Wolverine, Spider-Man, and how they're going to handle some legacy castings. So this is the final entry in our long road to get to what I think will be either 40 to 50 minutes long of breaking down everything Kevin Feige said and how everything goes from one to another and shows us exactly what the entire future of the MCU is, per head of Marvel Studios Kevin Feige talking about it with Variety. And in this final entry, we are talking about legacy characters, leftover characters that once the MCU reset happens with Avengers Secret Wars, once the rebooted universe is here for us through the eyes of the X-Men, how we are getting to the part where some characters will be considered legacy characters that stay around. A chief among these seems to be Deadpool and Wolverine, but I would not be surprised if there's a couple more. So what we're going to talk about is what Kevin Feige said, what this actually means, and how Marvel Studios can use this soft reboot to perfectly usher in a new era of unfamiliar territory for many fans who are going to be mad that characters like Iron Man and Captain America are recast, but also that will be offset by fan favorites that stay around and interact with these new characters to sort of pass the torch and give them the rub, if you will. So let's talk about what Kevin said and why this changes everything we know about a singular timeline in the MCU. So once again, what we are talking about is the interview that Kevin Feige did with Variety. And of course, this is my fourth and final part in that series that will all be stitched together for one super long video for all you guys. But this is like the smaller version of it. And this last part is important because it talks about the legacy characters. Because after he talks about the idea of recasting Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man and Chris Evans' Captain America and comparing them to Bond, they asked about characters like Hugh Jackman's Wolverine and Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool. And this is what he said as an answer. It's to the point, it's quick, but it truly reveals a lot. Because he said, and I quote, "I think there is more fun to be had with both of those characters, but we'll see where." End quote. So you guys all see what he just did, right? He talks about resetting and rebooting the MCU post-Secret Wars, recasting legacy characters. But then he talks about others. And for example, we know that Ryan Reynolds right now is working on another Deadpool film. We know that they're bringing back Hugh Jackman, by all accounts, for another film that's not just the giant multiverse romp. It's been suggested that we're essentially going to get Deadpool and Wolverine too. So the idea here would be to give them one more go because it's guaranteed money, but also to sort of bridge the fans' being upset and expectations into something that's manageable, I would say. So when you see a brand new Iron Man or a brand new Captain America, you might get irked and get upset. But the blow is lessened when you see them and they're accompanied by somebody that you are aware of, that you're considering a fan favorite, that drives nostalgia. Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. We've heard plenty of times, and it's even been teased by Marvel, that they want him around, that he might be this legacy character who's allowed to just live. So I'm going with the idea that what he's saying here is that anchor beings can survive post-merger and they can just exist. And I think what he just confirmed to us is that Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool, Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, and a few others will in fact remain after the reset. Many will be recast, many will remain. And we're more than likely getting another adventure film with Hugh Jackman's Wolverine and Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool, along with them being core members of giant team-ups going forward. But there's also other legacy characters that he doesn't mention that I think are clear as day. And that's the fact that Spider-Man will be a legacy character as well. So there is a lot of speculation and honestly fear that Sony might try to take Spider-Man and take him out of the MCU. Now, again, it's pretty much guaranteed we're getting a trilogy of Spider-Man films in the MCU, along with multiple appearances in team-up films, Avengers, and whatever else they might make or could extend the contract to if they need to. So Spider-Man will not go back to Sony. Worst case scenario, they do the live action Miles Morales films by themselves, but I don't think that's going to happen either. I think they will have Marvel help them, and it will all just be the same universe. Singular timeline. Which is why Sony has abandoned their plans to do more live action stuff on their own. Enter Spider-Man's legacy status. Tom Holland is still young. You have him after Brand New Day continue to be Spider-Man. In the next Spider-Man film, obviously post-Secret Wars, it's the reset universe with the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, and everybody. And now that the universe is reset, you got free reins to use Miles Morales. Enter in a older Peter Parker, a wiser Peter Parker, who now understands what he did wrong, how he was irresponsible, and how what he started ruined many aspects and started incursions, ruined multiverse lives. He needs to let this new Spider-Man know that with great power comes great responsibility. Spider-Man will be one of the key legacy components going forward, as Spider-Man is the most important character in Marvel ever. And what you're looking at here is them taking this legacy approach, this idea, and using it going forward. So a handful of legacy characters will stick around while many are recast. And new fan favorites will stick around to lessen the blow. And ultimately, 5-6 years from now, the MCU will look very different, yet feature elements that are the same. Therefore, it is a reboot, but a reboot that doesn't need to restart from square one. It restarts halfway there, reshapes the universe, and brings us into a whole new era that can last Marvel for another 20 years if they need. And I just realized this actually isn't over yet, because Kevin Feige revealed that Marvel is scaling back its 10-year plan and focusing on 5-year chunks. And the 5 years perfectly ends with the first wave post-Secret Wars. Thank you for checking out that video, and thank you for your continued support. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, do whatever you will, and if you're so inclined and would like some additional content from us, which includes unfiltered content and bonus discussions, we do offer exclusively in our member section. We hope to see you there. So thank you for watching, and have a good one.